What's up everyone, Morey Croson here, and today we're going to be going over the most critical errors I see in the 40 start, and we're going to start the video right now.
This is the newest edition of the Performance Lab.
Reach your individual goals. You don't want to just talk about straight line speed. We also want to talk about your ability to be quick. We break down your video. Let's make you into the quarterback I know you can become. All right, so we're going to give an example here. We got an athlete here on the right, just started working with this team, trying to help them out with, their overall speed. And then we have Jamar Chase here on the left. I really like this angle of, his start when he's going through the 40. And there's a couple critical errors that we can see here. And we're going to get more into the actual, first 3 steps is going to be a big, critical thing. But a couple things really stand out here in terms of the positioning, right? So we don't want to have a flat back. Right? We want to have the head below the hips when we're first starting. Okay, we also want to, really be able to, when you do that, you're going to end up having, not a ton of distance within that back foot and, front foot. That really wants to be, probably about a half yard. Like we could see, that toe is at about a yard and he's about, maybe a third or a half yard back here. So, that difference is about a half yard, right? Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit, a little bit more than a half yard, but this is definitely, that's probably more like a yard difference, right? And when you have that, now that hip's going to come way up. Okay, so that's going to be one thing. But now when we go into the actual start, we want to be able to really maximize your shin angles, right? And so we can see the first action there, really not picking up a lot of distance. And, when you go and you have that low heel recovery and you can bring that foot through, now you can go and be able to really get a good solid knee drive and be able to really get this angle of the shin to be at about, 70 degrees seems to be, around where it is, maybe 75 degrees, somewhere in there ends up where the angle is going to be within that knee, right? What you don't want to end up having is like a 90-degree angle. So we'll get this first foot step down and then, coming through. And so you can see how he's reaching here. Right, this is going to be a reach, even though he's not picking up very much distance, right? He's 2 steps in, and he's really at a position where, he's probably a little bit over 90 degrees within that knee, right? And so that's going to make it so the foot contact time is going to be a lot longer. If we look to see, when his foot hits the ground, 3.58, well, he's at 3.58, okay? And by the time he's off the ground, this is second step. Let's see, boom, he's off about 7.8, right? So that second step took 0.2 seconds, right? Where that second step really wants to be closer to about 0.14, somewhere in there. We'll see Jamar Chase runs here, 9.46 is that step there, somewhere in that area. And then he's pushing off, a little bit after 6.0. Right, so he's right about in that 0.14 area. I just want to quickly interrupt this video just to say if you like the information so far, go ahead and click that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. That really helps us out a ton. We're going to hop right back into it. Okay, so he's right. He's not necessarily all the way off, but right there, he's pretty far off, so I don't want to give him that whole time period there. 6.0 to 6.3, that's a good amount of, hundredths there. But yeah, he would still, even on that one, be a lot faster than, this athlete here. Okay, and so this is really costing you here, guys, is when you go and push off, right, you can see where he's landing, right? He's not necessarily bad with the foot and the hip, but he's landing so flat-footed, right? And he's landing in a position where that leg is so far straight where you can see, again, this is Jamar Chase's third step, right? So see that angle there with that shin? So really try to keep that calf, hamstring kind of connected there, and then what you want to do is you drive through. Okay, and then you pull straight back down. So see how he pulls that foot back underneath? So now he's landing with that heel high. Okay, and a lot of guys, I'm telling you, a lot of guys are running like this. Right, I'm seeing this time and time again. Okay, I'll just go through and just go to the next guy right now because I just had this running the whole time. Right, so watch, we'll get to then here's another thing, right? Same arm, same leg. Okay, so the reason I wanted to do this is to make it so then we have something to be able to talk about. Some of these guys didn't run great 40s. I think they thought they would be able to run faster, and they could see, there's a lot of, it's really about technique. So, right, you could see another guy that's just landing with that foot out in front, right? And that shin angle and that knee angle really, above 90 degrees,
Okay, so this is killing you guys in terms of your 40. You guys are trying to get recruited by colleges and interested by colleges, but you guys are not having the technical proficiency to be able to run really fast here. All right, so really just make sure that you're able to maximize your shin angles, right, or your knee angles here. Okay, don't let that knee angle too much above 75 to 80 degrees, right? You definitely don't want to get anywhere close to 90. Keep that shin underneath, and then from there, pull that foot back underneath you to be able to really get that foot right underneath the shin. And, in terms of, all right, and then here's going to be a couple exercises to be able to help you out. So, really, you want to be able to practice and get to the point where you can control this really well in terms of the actual range, right? So you can see me, really dipping down with this foot here to really get that heel up, right? So I just want to be able to feel that range, feel where that foot wants to be, right? The whole rest of my body is not really in the right spot, but I'm getting the range of motion within the foot so then I can start to land with my heel up and more on the balls of my feet, right? And then I'll work on different positions here, right? So now you can see my foot's a little bit more underneath my hip. So as I'm going through, I'm going to be landing. I want to really be landing more in this position, foot right underneath the hip, but I got to be able to achieve that range. And so I want to be able to work in a variety of different places. Make sure you're working on being able to push off effectively. So then you can just get the concept down within the feet. So then it can go and transfer over into actually, being able to run good 40 times. But if you don't have a feeling for how you want to be landing here, right, so you can see that there's a similarity there within the position, then it's really going to make it so it's difficult for you to be able to connect to what muscles should be active and how your body should be feeling. But you can see where the position is of his foot, right, where his hips are and where his head is. Okay, and so you can see that foot and hip are really right underneath each other, and then his head's really far out in front. And that's a similar position that I was just showing you in that video before, where my head was way out in front and then my foot and my hip are right underneath. And so we want to be able to work this position and just start to feel what that feels like in the foot, and then be able to start to implement it within our sprinting. Take video, send me breakdowns. The speed breakdown is the best thing you could do if you're looking to improve your 40. If you're not, somewhere within the LA area, if you're in the LA area or, it's not a far drive, come into the lab. I'd be happy to help you out. There's a lot of great things that we have from a overall tool perspective. We can look at your 10, we can look at your 20, we can look at your 40. We can also be able to, get a better understanding of where you're at your top speed, develop your top speed. And so, we'd be happy to have you come in. But, big thing is if you are struggling with your 40 and don't have anybody that's really giving you the technical understanding, right? There's one thing to be able to, just work on top speed. And, that's important. It's the same thing with the quarterback stuff. Right, I help quarterbacks in developing their mechanics. I'm going to be able to help you understanding how to be able to maximize your mechanics. So then when you get to 7-on-7, you have the ability to, really flourish and do a great job. It's the same thing with the 40. It's the same concept. I'm going to be working on the technical side of it. So then when you go and you work with your sprint coach or you do your performance training, you really will have a great understanding of what you need to be working on and what you need to be able to focus on to get the most out of those individual sessions. But if you're really not looking at the technical expertise like this, like a lot of these guys probably have speed trainers and they still are not running with very good technique at all. And so we want to be able to understand what that looks like and how we can maximize it. So I would say definitely take a look at the speed breakdown down below. We do have a couple different programs as well to be able to, if you're more committed, if you really want to get great results, then we could definitely do that. Again, check out the description down below in order to find out more. But yeah, if you like the information, click that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, comments, or recommendations, leave those down below. And thanks for watching.